Good morning and welcome to the Eliot Church. I wondered if anyone had any announcements that they wanted to make.
Just a reminder, we're doing a food drive as in the run-up to Thanksgiving. There's a box in the front that already has some stuff in it, which is great. We're doing it, I think, for 2 more Sundays, I think. And so, yeah, anything you can think of. There's a list in the order of service, I think, and in the weekly newsletter, but really anything would be welcome. Thank you.
Any other announcements? No, we're good. So I'm not Adam. You may have figured that out. This is Adam's normal out-of-pulpit Sunday. And in this iteration, this year, and going forward some years, when Adam is out of pulpit, we either have an out-of-pulpit minister come in and run the service, or it becomes more of a lay-led service. What we're fondly calling a service in a box. And I'm doing this because if you're ever asked about doing one of these, you should know that Adam is terrifically helpful. So he kind of pulls the readings and you work with him on the theme, so it is not so daunting as trying to run the service yourself. So it will come up a few other times during the year, so don't be nervous. You can ask me about it as well. So today we'll be thinking about kindness. You may not have known that today is in fact National Kindness Day. And one of our local nonprofit partners, Spark Kindness, is running a week of events related to kindness. So this sort of is in keeping with some other community activities. But we'll be thinking about kindness, and it can mean so many different things to different people. It might just look like being helpful or showing empathy. It may mean doing nice things without expecting nice things in return. Kindness is really more than being nice. Being kind is doing intentional, voluntary acts. Not just when it's easy, but when it's hard. And I think it's also important for us to recognize that as we recognize National Kindness Day and being kind, and some of this feels slightly light and fluffy, is to really recognize that kindness is kind of where people of privilege go when the world is on fire. So keeping that in mind, that sometimes kindness isn't necessarily going to solve all the world's problems, but it's not a bad first step. But we are privileged to be able to think about kindness in such a way today. So our first hymn this morning is We'll Build a Land in your gray hymnal, number 121. To recite our covenant. In the love of truth and the Spirit of Jesus, we unite for the worship of God and the service of all.
All responsive reading is number 584. We are caught in an unescapable network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny.
Justice anywhere is direct justice everywhere.
There are some things in our social system to which all of us ought to be maladjusted.
Hatred and bitterness can never cure the disease of fear. Only love can do that.
We must evolve for all human conflict a method which rejects revenge, aggression, and retaliation.
The foundation of such a method is love.
Before it is too late, we must narrow the gaping chasm between our proclamations of peace and our lowly deeds which precipitate and perpetuate war.
One day we must come to see that peace is not merely a distant goal that we see, but a means by which we arrive at that goal.
We must pursue peaceful ends through peaceful means.
We shall keep out of the mountain of despair, the stone of hope.
The next reading is 1 Corinthians 13. With very small type. Okay. Even if I can speak in all the tongues of earth and those of the angels too, but do not have love, I am just a noisy gong, a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy, such that I can comprehend all mysteries and all knowledge, or if I have faith great enough to move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away everything I own to feed those poorer than I, then hand over my body to be burned, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, it does not put on airs, and it is not snobbish. It is never rude or self-seeking. It is not prone to anger, nor does it brood over injuries. Love doesn't rejoice in what is wrong, but rejoices in the truth. There is no limit to love's forbearance, to its trust, its hope, its power to endure. Love never fails. Prophecies will cease, tongues will be silent, knowledge will pass away. Our knowledge is imperfect, and our prophecy is imperfect. When the perfect comes, the imperfect shall pass away. When I was a child, I used to speak like a child, think like a child, reason like a child. But when I became an adult, I put childish ways aside. Now we see indistinctly, as in a mirror, then we will see face to face. My knowledge is imperfect now, then I will know even as I am known. There are, in the end, 3 great things that last: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest of these is love.
Assorted quotes on kindness. And what does God require of you? To act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God. Micah 8.
I have learned silence from the talkative, toleration from the intolerant, and kindness from the unkind. Yet strange, I am ungrateful to those teachers. Khalil Gibran.
Illness is the doctor to whom we pay most heed. To kindness, to knowledge we make promise only. Pain we obey. Marcel Proust.
Human kindness has never weakened the stamina or softened the fiber of a free people. A nation does not have to be cruel to be tough. Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Do not pay evil with evil, or insult with insult. On the contrary, repay evil with blessing, because to this you were called, so that you may inherit a blessing. First book of Peter, chapter 3, verse 9.
With all of the bad things that are happening in the world right now, I think we need a message of togetherness and true unity. I believe that starts with personal reflection, and then we can find kindness toward each other. Marielle Heller.
Kindness and politeness are not overrated at all. They're underused. Tommy Lee Jones.
The world's need. So many gods, so many creeds, so many paths that wind and wind, while just the art of being is all the sad world needs. Ella Wheeler Wilcox.
What wisdom can you find that is greater than kindness? Jean-Jacques Rousseau.
And if anyone would sue you and take your tunic, let him have your cloak as well. And if anyone forces you to go 1 mile, go with him 2 miles. Give to the one who begs from you, and do not refuse the one who would borrow from you. You have heard that it is said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Matthew chapter 5, verses 40 to 43.
Our next hymn is in your gray hymnal 318, We Would Be One. It's time for our offering. Free gift and free church. all the gifts that we received today, both financially and in time and in fabulous music. Thank you. I feel like I should put my coat back on so I change my persona. That was just wonderful. I'm still kind of buzzing on the music, thank you. As we commit ourselves to kindness today, let us remember the various ways that it touches our lives. Kindness to self, remembering always to practice forgiveness when we stumble or fail to live up to our own expectations, knowing that though we are imperfect, we are part of the vast goodness of creation. Kindness to our neighbors, far and near. Understanding that kindness to self is not enough, that we must practice expanding forgiveness and healing out from our own hearts towards the hearts of others. Kindness in our schools, for our children deserve kindness too, from both adults and their peers. Kindness to the earth and all living creatures. We know that we share this world with many others and depend on each other. Let us be gentle toward all of creation and work for its restoration. And kindness committed to justice. For we know that true kindness comes from a passion for justice. Otherwise, it is a surface act with no lasting impact. A life of kindness must come from a deep place. Today, we recognize the origin of that journey to, in the words of the prophet Micah, do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly. And now if you'll please join me in the Lord's Prayer, which is written in your order of service. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Before we move on to our next part of the service, I was remiss in not making an announcement that I'm not sure everybody knows, that Willard Honeywell passed away earlier this week at 101 and maybe 6 months, so 101 and a half. He had been so strong and so vibrant for so long that it's sort of shocking. But he had had a couple of bad situations over the last few months, so there will be a service held for him December 10th here at the Eliot Church, and there'll be more information coming in. Sorry I didn't start off that way. But in some ways it's sort of in keeping with kindness, because he really was a kind and gentle soul, and we'll miss him. So if you've been following along in your order of service, you will be asking yourself, what is this thing called reverse collection for kindness? And Margaret is going to take us through what that is.
Today we're doing a reverse collection, and this is something new for us. But Rosemary's come up with some individual acts of kindness that people can do, and she's cut them into little pieces of paper, and they're in their collection plates. We thought about having music playing while we were doing this, but we want people to be able to look at what they've picked and trade if they want, or as Bill says, take two, they're small. And so we're hoping as we come around, if you take something and look at it, we're not checking, obviously, to make sure if anybody's done it, but if you can think about when you might do something like this, or what kind of kindness, you might be able to do, and what it really means to you, and what it means to the person that you're performing it for. That's kind of an opportunity to make it not something that you just hear us talking about or reading about, but something that you can actually take away and do. And I know this is a congregation full of people who do kindnesses every day. Every day, I'm sure of it. This is just one more, and it's kind of an opportunity to think about the impact that you make when you are kind. Thank you. No, go ahead and play. No, I'm not going to turn down. That's what we ended up deciding to do. I'm not going to turn down another song by you. Please.
some home with you also. It's so fun. About buying coffee from someone behind me in line, and I realized I never go someplace to buy coffee. Could be a problem. I did. Oh, okay. Oral trade. Anyway, we just thought it would be something to get people thinking, and if the thing in front of you makes sense for you to do, that would be great, or if it inspires you to do something else, that would be even greater. So our last hymn is Love Will Guide Us in your gray hymnal 131.
Of the word and not merely hearers. Those who look into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and persevere, being not hearers who forget, but doers who act. They will be blessed in their doing. Thank you.
Thank you all for participating. It's coffee now.